Yeah, good evening all. I think this quiz may have been fairly easy because more or less nothing really out of what I covered during the lectures, the two lectures. The very first one is a match the following. Um, the question asked is to match the model with the what is the most key attribute that it has. So the integrated model, basically the integration is what we do to arrive at a stationary distribution. I think this part should have been clear to most of you who attended the lectures. What we do when we do integration, it's basically we are taking difference of the series. For example, either we take difference once or we take a difference twice, depending on how many times you need to bring in stationarity. So that is the closest to the integrated model. And when I covered profit, I did mention that it is the only of the different models that we covered, the only one where we can have this concept of change points, which means you can have a certain trend till a certain point in time and then another trend from that point onwards. So we can introduce several such change points. That is the key feature of one of the key features of profit. I mean, of course, profit has many others as well. And double exponential smoothing I covered in the very first lecture. We have single exponential smoothing helps in doing smoothing, and double exponential in bringing in trends, and triple exponential in bringing in seasonality. So that is the match here. Auto regression model is basically a given observation on at a given point in time is correlated with the observations at a few past values. So that is how the auto regression model works. And spectral decomposition, which we covered, it is basically the Fourier transform method. So it is to investigate which are the primary frequency components in a time series, and there is no parameter involved here, unlike the others. So that I hope this was easy for most of you. Any questions on this question or the answer? Okay, I'll move on.
Yes, move on.
Okay, this second one, uh, this is basically a most general time series. We are seeing not only a trend, we are also seeing seasonal behavior. So rather than saying, I mean, in this choice, we know that deep learning methods will work because it is very generic. Profit also is fairly generic. I have explained it can bring in seasonalities, it can bring in multiple trends. So profit works. Triple exponential smoothing works because it is meant for both seasonality and trends, whereas single exponential smoothing and double exponential smoothing will not work. Single exponential smoothing will not even be able to take care of trends. Double exponential smoothing will not be able to take care of seasonality. So these two are the ones which are not checked. All others can be used to model this time series.
Chandra,
Yeah,
while you're doing it, I'll give you some feedback.
yeah.
I'll tell you the questions that people did poorly in, so you can.
Okay,
But unfortunately, I have to click on it to see it. So I'm clicking on it, and I'll tell you
okay,
question number. Oh goodness, question number 7. Okay, why don't you continue? I still need to figure out how to
okay.
find the exact questions. 3 questions. One question, people got 22% of the people got it right. Another one, only 40% of the people got it right. So I'll
Okay. So are they one of the first or second? I hope not, because they are
the order
fairly.
is jumbled, Chanda. So the
Okay.
order, no, I can't see. Your order is different from other people's
So
order.
can we see it on your screen then? I will be able to. Is
It
it?
will violate people's privacy now,
Okay, fine.
because then their scores will become visible. So I'll tell you which ones that people got really wrong. This is okay. Question number 7. The moving average. Select one of those. You know the expressions, the equation one.
Okay, got it. This one in the moving average model.
That is true. Yeah, this one was
Okay.
the performance was terrible. So we need to discuss this more.
Okay.
The,
So I'll come to it. I'm almost there. So the third question, the seasonal ARIMA model, it turns out that the best model arises when L is equal to 5. This is a very straightforward question. I mean, if you know the definition of the PQL and the capital P, capital Q, capital D, if you know that, you know straight away that L equal to 5 means seasonality of 5, because that is what it comes almost from the definition of the ARIMA model. So I think, do you know the percentage of people who got this right? Will you be able to tell, or?
No, unfortunately, it doesn't tell me. That's the annoying
Okay, fine.
software doesn't give me that way.
So this moving average model, the reason I asked this question is because moving average can tend to be confused with there is a concept of moving average in the single exponential smoothing, in all the exponential smoothing models. There, the moving average is having a different meaning than the meaning in a moving average model. In a moving average model, we explicitly uh, write the x of n in terms of uh, q past, q is some number, some past observations. I mean, this is the what I explained in during the class when I talked about an analogy where I said, the marks obtained today versus the effort put in maybe 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So you have, let us say, those are the effort put in at different points in time, and you are getting a certain marks today. So how they are correlated with a few observations from the past, which are, as far as we are concerned, they are random observations. I mean, those are the q past random observations. They contribute to the current actual time series value. Okay, so this is different from auto regression. In auto regression, the current time series value has dependence on past time series values. So that is what auto regression is. Whereas here we are saying that the current value depends on some other terms, which as far as we are concerned are like some following some normal distribution or some other particular distribution. So this is the answer for it. Because a lot of people got it wrong. Is there anything I need to explain to uh, mention why these are not the correct answer? I mean, these other answers, they are giving a moving average, but they are not talking of the moving average model. So I deliberately asked this question because there is a confusion when we talk of moving average model versus what a moving average means. Should I go on?
Yes, yes. So if
Okay, fine.
anybody, if you have questions, please do speak up. Huh?
Okay. Asif, you said one more question. There was
Two more questions. So this one, the score was 33%. 33% of the people got it right.
for this one, the triple exponential smoothing, this one.
Yes.
Okay, so this one, actually during the lecture, maybe it was not covered in full detail, but if you go, actually, I mentioned that we have this seasonal index in triple exponential smoothing. We model not just the trend and I mean, we have a smoothing, single exponential smoothing covers only the smoothing of the series, and then double exponential smoothing covers the smoothing of the trends, and in triple exponential smoothing we do a smoothing of the seasonal indices. So the fact that you have 0.85, 0.9 and 0.95 means that these are all values which are less than 1. Now, and the fact is seasonality is 4. If seasonality is 4, we know that the sum of all the seasonalities has to be really, I mean, the average of all the 4 seasonalities has to be 1. The seasonal index is something which is greater than or less than 1. Uh, if you're averaging the seasonal index across all the seasonal intervals, it has to be 1. That is the meaning of seasonal index. So if you have 1, 2, and 3 being 0.85, 0.9, and 0.95, for the fourth seasonal index, let us assume it is some value x. If you add all of them, it has to be equal to 4 because the average of them has to be 1. So the answer has to be 1.2. Okay. Uh, this follows almost from the definition of seasonal index. Seasonal index is how much it is greater than or less than the overall average for the entire season. So the overall average for the entire season has to be 1 for the seasonal indices. So that is the way you arrive at 1.2. Okay. This one, alpha, beta, and gamma are the parameters which contribute to smoothing. So if you remember the formula, we had uh, the alpha was what multiplied the most recent term, and 1 minus alpha is what multiplied the previous term. Similarly, with beta, the beta multiplied the most recent, and 1 minus beta the previous. And so if you want to have significant contribution from past values, 1 minus alpha, 1 minus beta, and 1 minus gamma have to be significant, which means you need to have something which is close to 0, so that 1 minus alpha is um, close to 1. Okay, so this is the argument, and of course it has to be positive because all these parameters are positive terms in the smoothing models. Okay.
This was
And
another question, question 7.
okay.
33% of the people got it
Okay.
right. Most got it wrong.
Most got it wrong. So here, I mean, it is more or less, if you look at what RNN is, there are RNN, we always have the hidden state. I mean, here I have taken the most basic. I have not even taken LSTM or GRU. So in the most basic RNN, you have a hidden state which depends on the input and an output which depends on the hidden state. And
1 second, guys. I think one of you need to mute your child. Could you? If you are not, but give me a Aditya,
Okay.
it seems to be you. Could you please mute yourself?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I've muted.
okay, so here one of the key things is I have mentioned that we want to capture both the arriving and the departing passengers, which means our input is really having a dimensionality of 2, because we are not only capturing only the total number of passengers, we need to have the XA and XD. The X is basically a 2-dimensional space. At each point in time, we have both the arriving and departing. And of course, we are also trying to figure out that the time series basically consists of a 2-dimensional vector of values. So that is the reason why it is 2 cross 100 for input to 100 and 100 cross 2 for hidden to output. This 3652 is really given just to confuse. It is there is this doesn't matter as far as the dimensionality is concerned, because the greater the number of intervals, it will help in building the model, but the weight matrix really doesn't depend on the total number of observations that we are looking at. So RNN, of course, the whole point of using RNN is to make sure that the same weight matrix can be propagated back in time. So even if instead of 10 years it had been 20 years, that will not affect the dimensionality of the weight matrix. So these two are obviously wrong because there is no connection of 3652 with the weight matrix. The question is between 1 or 2. The reason it is 2 and not 1 is because we have two features in each of the input variables, as well as the output, which is of course the same time series.
Chandar, how did the 100 by 100 come up? Like, what was the intuition for choosing 100?
Oh, okay. 100. Did I okay, I have not mentioned it. I should have mentioned. Sorry, that was a mistake. I wanted to say that it's a 100-dimensional hidden space vector, but actually it is the same in everyone. So
Yeah.
yes, it was the question was incomplete. I should have mentioned that I am using a 100-dimensional hidden feature space, which is not explicitly mentioned here. It should have been mentioned. In fact, I thought I have mentioned it. Obviously, I have not. But all of them have the same 100. Yeah. So
but still, I'm looking at it the other way, right, Chandra? When we're designing the network,
yes.
Why would we choose 100? Like, what is the problem characteristic that drives the choice of that parameter?
No. It is just a random choice here in this case. Yeah. It is not that it has to be 100. I should have mentioned that we are using a 100-dimensional hidden feature space. I should have mentioned it explicitly. It is not necessary that it has to be 100 for every RNN. It's not true.
Okay. So a typical choice would be somewhere in the, I would assume some 32, 64, something should be okay, right?
I think I have seen examples of 100 in the notebooks. In fact, one of the notebooks which I also went through, it was using a 100-dimensional hidden vector dimensionality.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, we can use. I don't know if there is any reason to use one versus the other.
Okay. So you go by trial and error in terms of
Yes.
smaller is better, but if that's not working, go for higher.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this question is the way it is written, it is incomplete. It should have been mentioned the dimensionality of the hidden vector space. This one is the next. We are going to the next one. Here the main thing to remember is it's a real-time series. Because it's a real-time series, and this has lots of complex numbers. You need to make sure that even though you have complex numbers here, what comes out is a real series. And if you do that, you will realize that it has to be the AK is equal to A star n minus k, because we already covered it in the during the class. This exponential has a periodicity at when you go to when n becomes equal to capital N, it actually becomes 1. Okay, so whatever is the value e power I 2 pi k n by n, it will actually be the same as e power I 2 pi n minus. I mean here this k could have been replaced by n minus k and it would be the same. Okay.
So
sorry, I shouldn't.
I thought the answer would have been the second one, a of k equal to a of n minus k. How did it become a of k equal to a into n minus k?
Not a into a star. This is the complex conjugate.
Oh.
This is a complex conjugate. A of k is a star of n minus k, because if we expand it out, whatever we have a of k e to the power of I 2 pi kn by n, and let us write the other term which is a of n minus k. I mean, this is a sum from k equal to 0 to n minus 1, right? So this k, if you see, it will have all the terms from k equal to 0 to n minus 1. Now, whatever is at n minus k, there will be the n minus k is actually the same as e power minus. You can get rid of the n. It would just be e power I 2 pi minus k n by n, because at n itself it's periodic with capital N, right? So, and you know that e power minus I 2 pi k is equal to the complex conjugate of e power plus 2 pi I k. Okay. So in order to have a real value coming out from the two contributions, a of k and a of n minus k, a of n minus k should have been the complex conjugate. Only then when you add up the two terms, you end up getting a real value.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so actually this comes by, if you write it, you expand out, and you collect the terms of whatever happens at k and n minus k, you will realize that the only way you can get a real time series is by having a of k equal to the complex conjugate. I didn't cover this in the class, but this in any textbook on Fourier transforms, in discrete Fourier transforms, this will be mentioned. And if you go through the theory, you will realize that for a real time series, you need to have this.
Okay. Yep. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And this is another coming straightforward from the definition of the PQD, capital P, capital Q, capital D. I mean, what the D in PQD in ARIMA model refers to the differencing. How many differences we need to do in order to bring in stationarity. So if you have to bring in 3 differences to bring in stationarity, it means that you need to have a cubic trend. Because if you had to do 1 difference to bring in stationarity, it means that it was linear. It was a linear growth. If you had to bring in 2 differences, it means the difference itself was growing. It means that it was a quadratic growth. If you had to do 3 differences to bring in stationarity, it means it was a cubic. This part is clear? Any questions on this? Okay. So this was the 9th question, and the last one. The total of all weights has to be 1. This is true in any exponential model or any other model also. It is true that the total of weights have to be 1. You can even do an actual calculation. If you look at one of those, let us say we are only focusing on the single exponential smoothing, where you have alpha multiplying the first term and 1 minus alpha the previous terms. You can actually expand out that 1 minus alpha itself can be expanded as I mean, each of the previous terms will have again an alpha and a 1 minus alpha. If you expand out all the weights of all the past terms, though there will be infinitely many, you will see that they will all add up to 1. So we can either see it explicitly, but even if you don't see it explicitly, the fact that weight of all in any averaging, all the sum of all weights has to be 1. Okay, so this is I think there were only 10 questions. Asif, any other questions where there were
no, those were 3 questions. People underperformed. So you explained that. So guys,
which was the third question? 2 I knew.
the one was the this 100 by 100 question.
Yeah.
One was the triple exponential.
Triple exponential. Okay. Like you said, those 3 indices 0.85,
Okay.
0.90,
Right.
and 0.95.
Yes.
Plus the fourth one.
Yes.
Should equal 4.
Yes.
Okay, then the answer would be 1.3.
No.
No, it's off.
Yeah, that needs to be 1.3, Chandar.
Oh, okay. It has to be 1.3. Okay. Sorry. Should have been 1.3. Okay. Yeah. The average has to be average has to be 1 of all 3. So it is 50. Yes, it should have been 1.3. Mistake.
Okay, phew.
Good catch. Sorry.
Nice, guys. Thanks, Chandra. Any other
Which
question?
was the third question? These were 2 questions. The third one?
The other one was right above it, the formula one.
Okay, this one. Okay. So should I put a correction here? Is there a way to correct it, Asif, saying that this should be 1.3?
Let me do that.
So that people who want to review it later.
Yeah, no, we can put the correction. I'll have to edit it, Chandra. So there are a couple of corrections now. Wherever you notice, you let me know.
So this was one issue, and another was the fact that I didn't explicitly say that it should have been 100 dimensional.
Yeah, so send me the revised questions.
Yeah, I will do that.
Nice, guys. Any more questions before we close the quiz review and move on to the next? All right, guys. So then I will stop the recording for the quiz and we will move on to the next.